Hey guys, so there's no greater joy than getting your first GoPro or just packing it for your next vacation. Though consider yourself warned. Once you start using a GoPro, you get used to it and start hoarding every new generation. If you don't believe me, this is GoPro Hero 5 session. Hero 6 Black. Hero 7 Black. The king of stabilization. Okay, so let's get back to the video. Here is my guide and some useful filming tips. First of all, you need to know your field of view options. GoPro 7 Black offers 3 different view options at 1080p. The widest setting you have is called super wide and it captures everything. It's I think more than 130 degrees of field of view, so it's highly distorted, especially on the sides. There's this thing called barrel distortion. Basically it rounds the edges up. My fingers look weird. The wide has more acceptable dose of distortion, but it's still there. And linear is actually my favorite. It is still a very wide angle compared to regular DSLRs or mirrorless cameras, but everything looks more real to life. There is no weird barrel distortion around. And this is my first tip. I really advise you to stay on the linear mode. My second tip is about choosing the right resolution. It's an age-old debate by now, 4K versus 1080p. But there's a particular thing with GoPros. At 4K, there's no linear field of view option. So if you're going for the 4K resolution, you have super wide and wide as only options that are offered by GoPro at that resolution. So my suggestion, first of all, would be remaining in 1080p. That's where you get the linear mode. And also remember that 4K, just read it as 4x and it is really 4 times the file size. You will run through your SD cards a lot faster. I mean, it will be a more difficult data to be processed either by your phone or by your computer. Wherever you play, say you just want to download it quickly by Wi-Fi, that Wi-Fi transfer will take more time, it will drain more battery. There are a lot of inconveniences when it comes to 4K footage. Again, unless you know what you're doing, just stay at 1080p. If you're looking for a little bit of an extra, my suggestion would be just going for 2.7K where linear is still offered. So when you're using your GoPro Hero 7 Black or any of the older iterations that I already showed you, just go ahead and use the 2.7K in linear mode if it's offered by the device. And I know that 6 and 7 are offering it. I'm not sure about 5S. 5S is kind of my favorite of the bunch when it comes to portability. Its size is just fantastic. But anyways, I'm digressing here. Let's get back to the resolution discussion. So yeah, instead of going full 4K, if you remain in 2.7K in linear mode, I'm quite sure that you're gonna get a better footage. My third suggestion would be actually investing in some accessories, because what makes GoPro special is that their durability, their waterproofness. So instead of using them as a regular camera or your phone's camera, just get some of the accessories. For example, here I have the GoPro's 3-way arm, I believe it's called. This is actually an original accessory. It's a bit expensive, but it's very versatile. But say you don't want to spend, I think this was 60 bucks, so it was a bit pricey. But if you don't want to pay that much, I think the original head mount and chest mount were like 20 bucks. But even if you think that that's too much and you want to have access to more accessories, because if you would like to attach GoPro to interesting angles, you need those tripods, you need those both the chest band and the headband actually. So if you really want to get the most out of it, my suggestion would be investing in a GoPro accessories kit, which are actually an aftermarket solution. And here I have one from Asobij. Oh, well, it's not that easy to read, but Asobij, I'm just gonna call it Asobij because it reminds me of a beach. So GoPro beaches, it's always a good taste. So these guys are actually providing 65 pieces of accessories in one box, and I see that The box itself is actually a little bit of a shock-proof case. There's chest mount, there's wrist strap, there's helmet strap, there's head strap, and there's lots of bolts and buckles for your GoPro, so you can use it wherever you want. Like, this was actually like $30, $40. I'm gonna put an affiliate link down below so you can check it out yourself. But I think this is a good set. Like, I used other kits before. Oh, for example, this selfie stick actually came with that kit. This monopod, it's actually pretty long and useful. That's what she said. And I think I added this part. Yeah, this is from Lytra. So like, most of the things that you are going to require when using your GoPro in creative angles are provided in that action kit. But again, if you can afford it, just go ahead and get the original one. I'm sure that it's a little better, but I have some of the originals too, obviously. And I'm telling you, this kit greatly suffices for what I'm doing, for what I need. Another important thing when it comes to your GoPro usage is actually getting enough battery out of it. Even though GoPro 7 Black offers actually a interchangeable battery, I think now that the silver and white are not offering, I'm not sure, but basically Hero 7 Black is the go-to camera. I tested GoPro Hero 2018 as well. It was not that good. It was just Hero back then. Hero 7 Black offers fantastic stabilization and it's their top of the line camera. So when it comes to battery saving, sorry, I'm so much in love with my GoPros because GoPro is kind of what got me into filming. Like filming my short videos, starting my YouTube channel, because GoPro is packing so much in this little body and it kind of inspires people. Anyways, too much for my love for GoPros. Let's talk about the battery saving tips. For example, it's a lot of fun to make like time lapses with that wide angle when it comes to a sunset situation, or when you're looking over, say, a crowded environment, like a crowded avenue, for example. People move in, like a lot of movement with a time lapse looks gorgeous. And you don't need your screen on when your camera is getting a timeline. So my first tip about the battery is just make sure that your screen does not remain on more than you need. And a second and an important tip is that about the brightness of your screen. Like, unless you're in a very bright situation, do not just go ahead and use the highest brightness setting, because it's directly draining your battery from your camera. So if I were you, I would just look for the appropriate setting and then use the auto turn off functions of the GoPro so that it doesn't drain your battery in vain, because especially if you're not behind the camera or you don't really need that viewfinder screen. Another important tip coming right now is about the GPS. Like, GoPro actually has a GPS built in, and that GPS is draining your battery. So if you're not going to make use of those GPS data, my suggestion would be just shutting it off. And same goes for Wi-Fi. Unless you're transferring something using your phone as a viewfinder, or just doing a live chat or something with your GoPro, just turn it off, because you really don't need that Wi-Fi when you're filming, and it is just draining your battery. I mean, I love my GoPros, but my biggest problem with GoPros is their battery life. To keep that form factor, of course, they need to put in a certain size of battery, but if you follow those tips, like turn the GPS off, turn the Wi-Fi off, make sure that your screen brightness is enough, and when you're not looking at the screen, just turn off the screen. This is really easy to find within the settings. Just move around a little bit in your settings and you will figure those things out. And when you are trying to actually do these things, you'll get familiar with your camera. It's quite user-friendly, but in case you are still not used to knowing your camera, you gotta jump in and look for those battery-related settings and just use it as a practice so that you get to know your camera better. Okay, my fifth and the last tip is about use of Protune. GoPro does not offer a fully manual mode, but it offers Protune. Protune is actually a simplified way of using the manual mode on like regular cameras. When using Protune, you can just decide on maximum settings, minimum settings. You get to choose the sharpness levels that are going to be added digitally. You can choose the color profile. For example, flat profile is capturing more data when it comes to the shady parts of this, or when the exposure is not the best. It still captures great data, but it's a bit trickier to process. So you can still use the Protune, but the regular color profile, GoPro color profile, but then you can play with the sharpness to make it look a little bit more cinematic. Then you can enjoy the shutter speed settings. For example, if you really want to follow the 180-degree rule, you can just manually enforce your shutter speed. So, I mean, what makes GoPro footage special is actually not mingling with that shutter speed that much, to be frank with you. But if you are interested in alternative uses of your GoPro, say in a more cinematic environment, you can just dig in and do the Protune. In my opinion, Protune is not that scary because, again, it's not the manual mode. You can leave, for example, white balance in auto. Nothing is wrong with that. You can leave your shutter speed in auto if you want to, but you can just set your ISO to a maximum, because we know that GoPro, when it pushes the ISO to say 800 and above, we lose the image quality rather fast. So to avoid that, you can just put ISO 800 there. And again, Protune is so easy to turn on. When you're in the settings menu, you just go ahead and click on Protune and then just follow the on-screen instructions. It's not complicated at all. By the way, if you would like to learn more about the Protune, and if you would like to have a dedicated video about Protune, just drop a comment down below. I mean, you'll just be a reason for me to start doing that, because I do enjoy making videos. I would love to make one for you. When we are talking about making videos, let me talk to you about an easy software that helps you edit your GoPro videos, who's actually sponsoring this video with a short, small giveaway too. I'll just randomly give a $50 Amazon gift card to one of those who commented below. So Videoproc is actually an easy to use editing tool where it takes the most used functionalities of more comprehensive editing tools like Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro 10 and just gives you in a very simple format. If you're not used to working with a timeline, and yes, it might get complicated from time to time, I'm sure that this will help you a lot. And give Videoproc a trial. I'm gonna put a link down below. You can go ahead and download a free copy if you're into starting to edit your GoPro videos. Great thing about Videoproc is that it's free for the moment and it's available both on Mac and PC. Well, once again, thank you very much for watching this video. If you like the content, just go ahead and subscribe to this channel, because I will just keep going and providing you easy tips like this, because some people are just sugarcoating things as easy, but then they're complicated. As you can see, all the tips I provided here, or the guidelines I provided, are really easy to understand, and I'll keep doing that. And if you're a subscriber, you will not miss any. Okay, well, until next video, take great care of yourselves, and arrivederci.